Germany has seen some audacious heists in recent years. In 2017, thieves broke into a Berlin museum, making off with a massive gold coin that weighed 100 kilograms. It has not been found since. 2 years later, a gang broke into the historic Green Vault at Dresden Castle, stealing priceless 18th century jewels. It was one of the worst museum thefts in history, though remarkably, many of the stolen jewels were later recovered. And just recently, in the final days of 2025, a group of criminals carried out what could be Germany's biggest ever bank robbery. Police believe they used a large drill to break into a vault holding thousands of safety deposit boxes in a branch of Sparkasse in the German city of Gelsenkirchen. Now, police say valuables worth at least 30 million euros were stolen. A lawyer representing some victims says the actual number could be as high as 300 million euros. After the break-in was discovered on December 29th, worried customers gathered outside the bank trying to find out if they had been affected. More than a week on, and with no obvious breakthrough in the investigation, many questions remain unanswered, including how and whether they will ever get their money back. And for more, I'm joined now by Kilian Schroeder. He's a journalist who has been following this story for Capital Magazine. Kilian, it's good to have you with us. You know, banks themselves are usually not privy to the contents of a customer's safety deposit box. But this heist, of course, it's anything but usual. I understand around 3,000 safety deposit boxes were affected. What was inside these boxes?
Yeah, that's actually something the police is trying to find out right now. They're still working on finding out because, you know, people don't know what's inside these boxes. The state doesn't know, the bank doesn't know, only the customers know. So that makes it hard to actually find out what's inside there. Mm-hmm. But we've talked to the police and we've talked to lawyers, and they told us that people were storing jewelry, some gold, but also significant amounts of cash.
We've heard from a lawyer representing some of the victims that the amount stolen could total up to 300 million euros. Do we know where that number comes from? I think it's about 10 times more than the 30 million originally estimated by police.
Yeah, so the police is a little conservative here because what they're looking into is the standard insurance fee, and that was just 10,300 euros that cover what's inside the box, and put that times 3,000 boxes, and that's around 30 million. But the lawyer that I talked to told me that people were having 100 euros in there, 150,000 euros on average. Some even had valuables of several millions in there, he said. So it could probably be a lot more, and it's highly likely that those numbers go higher in the coming days.
And it makes you wonder, Kilian, why do people use safety deposit boxes to store cash and not put that cash instead in a regular bank account? At least in a bank account, if the bank goes under, we know that the money, at least up to a limit, is guaranteed by the state.
Yeah, so people in Germany love their cash. That's something they just like to have. What's special about that Gelsenkirchen case is what I've been told that it could come from weddings, actually, where people were giving 100 euros, 150 euros, 200 euros to the wedding couple. And that just maybe adds up to those high cash numbers. And there's also a possibility that that's a lot of weddings, that's true. Yeah, what's also a possibility, of course, is that money actually is that people are trying to hide that money from the authorities.
Yeah, I mean, I want to pick up on that. There have been suggestions that the safety deposit boxes could have been used to hide the proceeds of tax evasion or other crimes. Is there any truth to that?
So I think I have to make clear that's just speculation to this point. The police hasn't confirmed anything on that. But from people that I've talked to, what they told me is that it's not that unusual for people to try to hide money in those safety deposit boxes. And that's not organized crime, or not just organized crime. That's also like normal people, business owners, who try to put something aside that the authorities maybe should not know about. Of course, that's illegal, but that's something that happens. And in Gelsenkirchen, it's just speculation, and we probably will find out more once the details of the investigations become clear. But yeah, we just don't know yet.
Let's talk about this actual break-in. Do we know how it happened? I mean, how safe was the room where these safety deposit boxes were being kept?
Yeah, so there are a lot of questions about the safety right now. From what we know by now, the suspects came in with a black Audi RS6, which is a fancy car, and they even paid for the parking ticket in a parking garage.
Wow.
And then they got into a room and drilled a hole in the wall on the back of that room where the boxes were stored. So then they even had probably several days to take out the money and the valuables. So there's a lot of questions about the safety, because the only alarm that went off was apparently the fire alarm. And that raises some questions. The police hasn't disclosed anything yet about the details of that room, how it was, how the safety was actually. But that's something that people are trying to find out more about, because it's that's a big question.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new one for me, too. I've never heard of bank robbers who actually pay for parking. But, I mean, I guess, you know, anything's...
they had the money.
Yeah, they had the money. That's true. They could pay for a lot more than just the parking space. The victims of this heist, are they covered at all by insurance?
So what I've talked before, that the standard insurance for these boxes was 10,300 euros. And that's probably what they're covered. They were able to get a higher insurance.
Who is that guaranteed though by, Kilian? The 10,000 euros, is that guaranteed by the bank?
Yeah, that's guaranteed by the bank. That's what they offered on a standard for the standard box. But people were having a lot more in there. So that's kind of the part of the discussion now, if they actually get back what they had in there, or if the insurance covers all that. Because it could happen that the bank has to give out more than those 10,000 if it becomes clear that the room was not safe enough, or that they didn't notify their customers sufficiently about the insurance.
Well, how do these customers, how will they prove what was inside the boxes?
So those who have it, and that's what lawyers advise now, is that customers took photos of what they put inside, had maybe a list of what's inside. Of course, that doesn't work so much if they actually try to hide something, but it's still, that's what the normal way should look like, and that's what apparently many of those customers have. At least that's what the lawyers that I talked to told me.
Yeah, I mean, as long as these images have not been created with AI, but I mean, that's an entirely different can of worms. It is, it's been more than a week now, a week and a half since this robbery happened, and there have been no arrests. What have police said about this investigation? I mean, it seems to be going nowhere.
I mean, I think it has to take into account that this is one of the biggest cases, if not the biggest criminal case in history of Gelsenkirchen. And they had to set up a special group for that. They are collaborating with other police forces, and that's a lot of work for them. They are still at the scene, for example, to try to get a look at all the hints that are still there. But what is true is that the police is not currently looking into anyone in particular. They don't have any names that they're investigating right now. So it will probably take weeks until 2 months until until the investigation goes forward.
Are there any signs that we know of that could point to this robbery being the result of an inside job?
Yeah, that's again a speculation that we hear, but again, that's nothing confirmed here. The police did raid the building of the bank a few days ago, but they told me again that they're not investigating anyone working at the bank or around the bank. So we don't know. It could become clear in the coming days, weeks, that that the information came from the bank to the suspects, which would make sense because they knew a lot about, apparently they knew a lot about where to go, how the alarm system works, where personnel would be who could maybe stop them, or that nobody was around on that day. But we don't know yet. It's just speculation that it was an inside job.
Yeah, I guess what we can say tonight is if the taxes in Germany were lower, there would be less in those safety deposit boxes. We don't know. Kilian Schroeder, journalist with Capital Magazine. Kilian, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.